How's it going, guys? It's Mr. Lone Wolf, and I've just got some more tips that I've been saving up over the last week or so that I thought are worth knowing. They're definitely a bit more situational than the first tips video. The first one sort of comes in handy all over the place, but some of these in here you'll definitely, I reckon by the end of the video, you'll be glad you know about them. So the first one is what we can actually do is kind of delete about a minute of unsaved progress. So if you were driving your truck along and you got a trailer with cargo and you crash and you roll and you just think, oh fucking hell, I can't be bothered to bring a crane and do all the rest of it, what you can basically do is hold, I'm on PlayStation, I could hold the PlayStation button down as long as you're quick enough, because when it says saving, if you can see like above the handbrake at sort of the bottom right, obviously every now and then it brings like a saving cogs up, and it does that for about 5 seconds every minute or so. So basically every now and then there's like 30 seconds of unsaved progress. Right now, just for the sake of getting this footage, because I need to be quick with it, I was just waiting here. You can see my back tyre is right next to that rock. I'm just waiting for it to say saving, which it is now, so just so I knew I had time to make this video. But obviously normally you don't have to specifically wait for that. When you're driving along, imagine you're just driving down the road. I forgot to get a trailer and stuff, but imagine I've got a trailer, I went a bit over the top round this corner, I've crashed and rolled everything, and I really can't be arsed bringing a rescue truck and whatnot. Hold the PS button, click close application. I didn't realise I could get a screenshot, that's why the picture's different. Obviously I've closed the game, I've gone back to the main menu, I'll click back on the game and boot it up, and I'll cut most of this out, but as you can see, I'm now loading the game back up, and basically where you see my truck was parked with the rock next to that back tyre, that's when the game last saved, and it was after that I rolled the truck, and I closed the application before the game saved again. So now you can see when I load the game up, my truck's back next to that rock at my back tyre, and obviously it doesn't really matter at the minute because I'm just in the ANK, but if I had like cargo in the back of this and a trailer with a load of cargo and I just rolled it on the corner, you're probably talking like a half-hour rescue mission. I've got to bring a crane to restack the cargo and all sorts. So yeah, it's up to you guys if you do it. It's kind of a little bit of a cheat, but who cares? It's a single player game, you're only playing it for your own fun, so if it ever happens where you just can't be arsed doing it, as long as you quit, you can see the saving cogs I have. If you crashed as it's saving, I don't know, I think you're probably out of luck. But you've got a 95% chance of it not saving while you crash, so it's worth knowing. And right, so the second tip is to do with the saddle high and the saddle low. And you can see on the minute, obviously, with most trucks I can fit either, but at the minute I've taken it off, so I've got neither on there. And you can see again when I come out of the garage, I've definitely got no saddle high or low on there. So when you go to the trailer store, you can basically get a saddle high or a saddle low from the trailer store. So as you can see, as I'm flicking through the trailers, it'll basically just equip the appropriate saddle depending on which trailer I choose, which might come in handy in some situations if you're on like the other side of the map and you might do one of them special missions where you need a saddle high. But obviously normally you have to go back to the garage to equip it, but I found out obviously, yeah, if you can get to a trailer store instead, you can equip a saddle high or saddle low that way and then just sell the trailer and you've got what you need. The only problem is it doesn't do yet is once I've equipped, like I just bought a saddle low trailer, I now can't buy a saddle high. I'm going to have to go back to the garage and either specifically equip a saddle high, or just because I'm showing you examples, I'm going to remove them, all of them, and then obviously when I go back to the trailer store, it works the same as well with a saddle high, which again this is probably better because a lot of them special objective trailers require a saddle high. So I've bought it, I've got a saddle high attached now. I just sell the trailer back and then that's it, I've got a saddle high equipped. And in quite a lot of cases there's a trailer store nearer than the garage. Obviously if you've already got something equipped though, it doesn't work yet. I believe they'll update it at some point and you'll be able to change the saddle high and saddle low at trailer stores, which would make sense because if they're selling trailers they'd probably sell the attachments too. So anyway, next tip is to do with this crane. It's like the little crane that you can equip on quite a lot of the trucks. And I'll get to an appropriate place. So just imagine, again this is just demo footage, but imagine you come into a situation where it's really uneven road and you know you're going to be leaning and tipping a lot and you might tip over. Obviously this can quite easily happen. I will just point out quickly that when you equip this crane in the first place, it raises your centre of gravity compared to if I didn't have it equipped. So I'm not necessarily saying equip this for this. If you don't need the crane, you could de-equip it, but the chances are you're going to be in situations where you have got the crane equipped. So if you got it, you may as well use it. So basically, I'm driving down here, and imagine this is the route I have to go, and I'm leaning pretty damn hard. I just equip this winch for safety while I'm doing the example. But you've basically got two options with a crane. So we'll call this side, like the inside. If you imagine, we'll call the side you're going to tip the outside, and then this the inside. So you basically got two options with a crane. You can move it to the inside and basically use it as a massive counterweight. So just adjust it to whatever height and length that you want it out. But now, as you can see, if I had like a trailer attached and it was all a bit sketchy, now I can leave that out as a counterweight and I'm not tipping at all as I'm driving along this ditch. Which obviously, as you've seen 30 seconds ago, I was tipping. So that's the first option with the crane. You can see here when I pack it away, because I'm stopped, I know I probably wouldn't tip, but you can see my sort of centre of gravity and that shift a bit. The other option with the crane is to use it on what we'll call the outside, like the side you're going to tip on, and you can kind of use it just like a leg that basically, as I'm driving along now, as you'll see, no matter what happens, if I tip to the right, I'm never going to tip enough that the engine will stall, and then I'll obviously have to go and get another truck to pull me over and whatnot. With the crane in this position, as far as tipping right is concerned anyway, it's always going to land me like this, and I'll always have the winch option to get myself out of trouble. So again, it doesn't come in handy in every situation, and I'm not saying to equip the crane all the time so you have it, but there is going to be loads of times where you have the crane equipped, and like I say, if it's there, it is what it is, you may as well use it. And obviously when you're back on the normal roads, you can just pack the crane away and carry on as normal. This was just a demo, but imagine I'm going to go around this corner and there's a good chance of tipping to the left. Obviously I'll just get the crane out and I can start going forward. And to be honest, this was a bit of a bad example, because when I just got the crane out, I didn't even move the crane really or anything. And even though it is a bit of a counterbalance at the minute, it's not. What I should have done is this, like actually just lowered the sort of top of the crane, extended it a bit for even more. And then again, as I'm driving along now, I know for a fact that I can't tip to the right and stall. Obviously I still can tip to the left, but that's less likely anyway, because all the weight's now hanging over to the right. As you can see, as I'm driving along, it hits the floor, it just carries on. It doesn't twang your truck around and make it go all crazy or anything like that. And as I'm going along here as well, when I hit, obviously trees that move will move, but even as I go up here and it hits that tree, it just bounces round the tree, and it doesn't feel like it's trying to twist my truck around or anything like that. It just seems to kind of move by itself, and it just pings back when it's able to. But it wasn't like affecting my driving or anything like that. And as you can see driving through here, if I was to tip to the right, there's no way I'm going to tip it over enough to stall it. The place I'm heading to for the best demo is, I'm nearly there now, but it's a little section that most of you probably would have come across. It's on Smithfield Dam, and there's like this dodgy ass corner that leans really over, like the camber on it's really bad. It's again in Smithville, it's in that sort of corner, there's like this big boggy area, and so there's the farm over that way, and this is the road you'll take up to it. But yeah, most of you should be familiar with it. If not, you will be at some point, because you have to deliver stuff here. So obviously, yeah, with the crane I've now got a couple of options. I could put it to like the inside and use it as a counterweight, but the first part of the video already sort of showed that pretty well, so I just cut that bit out. Yeah, I put it this side, obviously lower it to any angle I want, lower to the floor, the less I'm even going to tip. If you put it almost to the floor when you're level, you tip so little that you can just carry on driving. That was my fuck up a bit there. I turned and then I let go of the steering, and the steering straightened up really quickly, and I just speared off a bit more, so that wasn't the crane's fault. But yeah, as you can see driving down here, there's no way I can tip over to the right. And again, I just need to point out, if I didn't have the crane out like this, I wouldn't be tipping as badly to the right in the first place. However, with or without the crane, that corner is pretty dodgy and you can tip on it. I think I have. yeah, and then obviously when you get back to normal flat ground, just pack the crane away and crack on. So it's one of those things it's worth knowing. It can definitely come in handy from time to time. So anyway, the next tip, you see on like my task, you see how that top task is like a white piece of paper that's filled in, but then all these middle ones are all like blank pieces of paper that are hollow, and then that bottom one is also filled in. What that is those tasks that are filled in, I've basically accepted them along the way at some point, so I can select them again, whereas all these others I haven't. And because I did Smithville Dam pretty early, I didn't really know this yet. So on all the other maps, I select every mission. That's my tip, is select every mission, whether you're on it or you're going to do it now or not. So you can see there's Hungry Workers one. Because I've not selected it yet, I can't actually like go back onto the mission and just press accept. Like you can see here, when I look on it, it says deliver some consumables to there, but there's no option to just accept the mission. Whereas if I go on to one of those missions where I've like already previously accepted it at some point, you can see it tells me what to do, but in the bottom left it just says start tracking, so I don't actually have to go back to the point where I need to select the mission. And yeah, that just tells me, like, again, I can select the missions with both of those that are filled in. So this Hungry Workers one, now I'm just going to select it quickly to show you. So even if I'm on the middle of another mission now, just select it, click accept, I click here start tracking and stop tracking, but you don't need to. But select the mission and then I can drive off and I can go and do what I want, and it might be tomorrow, it might be next week, I'll think, oh, I'll do that Hungry Workers one. I can now just go down my list, go on to Hungry Workers, it'll still tell me what it wants me to do and whatever, but as you can see in the bottom left, I can now click start tracking. And you might be near it anyway, you might just be facing the wrong way at the farm and you can't be arsed reversing 30 foot to go and select it again. But yeah, it's worth selecting all the missions, because the other good thing is, ignore the footage, this is just sort of filler footage now, but on other maps where I've just selected every mission, usually as I'm going around scouting the place, once I deliver stuff and complete one mission, I don't know if the game purposely organises it to what you're closest to, but near enough every time, say I've dropped something off at the sawmill, it'll pop the next mission up and it says, oh, you need to take something from the sawmill to somewhere else. And it near enough halves your mission times, because instead of going from A to B and then B to C, I'm already at B and all I've got to do is just one little journey. So that's my tip, is basically just select every time you drive past any mission, just accept it all the time, because you can just stop tracking it and it won't matter for now, but you can come back to it when you like. So next tip, obviously if you're quite a bit of the way through the game, you're going to have a lot of different trucks, and the amount of money I've spent on upgrades and stuff is like sickening. And as you can see, I've got these two big trucks here. On the Derry Longhorn, I've got there the twin motor heavy winch, and let's just say though I want to take the Pacific P16 out and I want to put that winch on. I go down, it's like I don't really want to spend 19 grand or 22.5 grand or 15 on the winch, but obviously having a fatter, heavier winch would be nice. What I can do is go back to the Derry Longhorn, just put the stock one back on, so it now removes the twin motor heavy winch, and then when I go back to the Pacific, I can now go and put it on for free. So you can basically just mix and match equipment on all your different trucks and remove them. You don't have to keep buying new things every single time, which I thought was pretty cool, and it helps out. The other thing as well is you can sell stuff back, equipment, you can remove it and sell it back for what you paid for it. So I've just bought that and then like put the twin motor one back on. I've just sold it back for the same money I paid for it. I've not lost a penny. And the way that comes in handy, because like me, I've been picking trucks every now and then, and I kind of take that out for the day, but I've been not equipping like the biggest engines sometimes, because I just don't want to keep wasting all the money. But now, obviously, I've realised I can just sell everything back. I've been doing this with each truck. I'm buying like all the best of everything, and then when I'm done with it for the day, I just take it back to the garage. It glitches a tiny bit here while I sell the engine, but you'll see me sell the gearbox back. So yeah, I've just been getting my money back off every truck, which is nice, because that now means that you can try everything on every truck and you're not being punished for it, and you're not having to blow a load of your money that you'll never see again. And as you can see here, and this isn't even all my trucks, this is just the ones in the garage really at the minute, but with the amount of stuff here, I've got enough upgrades on all of these to buy any truck on the game outright. and I could just go through and sell some stuff off them if I was short of money and I wanted to buy like a specific truck, which I just like about the game really. I think that's pretty cool that you can do that. You just press square when you back on the item to sell it back, and it also works with actual trucks as well. Like this Caterpillar I can buy, is it 56,300 or something. When I buy it, go to truck storage and it's in there, click on it, I can do what I want. Obviously because I can buy and sell the stuff as well, I could just test this truck. I've just bought it for 56 grand. I can fit the engine, I can fit the best gearbox, all the best of everything on it, and then when I'm done with it for the day, I probably wouldn't even need to de-equip everything, because I think when you sell something with upgrades it factors in the price. But as you can see here, I can sell it back for the exact same price, which is basically, after I've done all the reviews of trucks that I've found, I'll start doing reviews on like the trucks you can buy out the store, and this is what I'll be doing, is just going back and forth, like selling each truck each time, instead of having to save up like £1 million just to try all the trucks. And this is one thing, I'm going to go off track for like 30 seconds, but this is exactly the sort of thing that if this was a AAA game by EA or Activision or something, what they would do is everything you buy you can only sell back for half the price, and then they'd conveniently say, oh, but here's a microtransaction to buy in-game money, and they would purposely make it a pain in the arse grind, trying to force some people that can't be arsed grinding for 10 hours for another 150 grand to just go, oh sod it, I'll buy a microtransaction. And that's where like this game hasn't been greedy about it at all. There is a couple of microtransactions. You can buy like the Khan if you didn't buy the season pass, and you can buy the Navistar if you didn't pre-order the game, but it's £1.69, like it's not a rip-off, and you can buy it in-game for in-game money, and again you can sell it back for what you paid. So I just appreciate that. Like, this game's not trying to be a greedy money grabbing bastard like the usual suspects, EA, Activision, all them lot. So anyway, next tip is to do with this ramp trailer. You can see the one there with cargo containers. I could have used that, but do you know how long that fucking thing took me to park? So I'm just going to buy this trailer. It's this specific one, but some of you guys have probably noticed that when the camera is right over the trailer, it forces it up in the air, and that's as low as the camera can go. And then when you come off either side, it lowers back down to a normal position. It's not too bad when you're going 10 mile an hour, but when you're going 50 mile an hour and it suddenly bumps you up into this view, it's not good. You can crash pretty damn easily. So basically, it's not the craziest tip or whatever, but I just thought I'd add it because it's been driving me mad for a little bit. Just disconnect the trailer and winch the trailer, get the winch length as short as possible, and then now, as you can see, the camera can just go where it likes. Like I say, it's only for this trailer. I've not noticed any other trailer where it does it, but it's just a bit of a pain in the arse, and it does mean your winch is used up, but if you're in somewhere where you're probably going to need your winch, you could just reattach the trailer because you're not going that fast. It's more for when you're going down like the paved roads at top gear and then it suddenly bumps your camera view up. It's just a bit of a pain in the arse. It's not really what you want. And just while I'm at it as well, there is actually, obviously I've attached this trailer now. You can also winch another trailer. I'm going to do a separate video to show you different configurations, but obviously right now I've got 2 lots of cargo in the back of the truck. I'm towing a 4-slot trailer, and then I'm winching to another trailer. So altogether now I've got 10 slots, which I just want it. It's more fun than efficient, if I'm honest, but it was pretty fun having like a little road train going along. And yeah, like I say, I've got 10 pieces of cargo, and for this mission I needed 10 pieces of cargo, so I got it all done in one trip. And the nice thing is, when I get here and actually drop the stuff off, it doesn't make me like disconnect this trailer and reverse and connect the other one. It just takes everything off me, even the trailer that's connected to the winch, which I thought was pretty nice. They've obviously thought that people are going to start doing stuff like this if they can, so that was nice to know. And then one of the last tips, which I think it was Gamer Girl pointed out in one of the comments, obviously you can put a line to somewhere and then you can basically pinch the line with the same button and you can like adjust the line. I missed it there, I should just zoom in. But yeah, holding R2 on the PS2, I can grab the line and I can adjust it and add extra like waypoints to it. And to be fair, most of the time it's not really going to come in handy because it's quicker just to draw the dots as you draw them, because as you can see, when you grab it, it purposely makes it pretty slow so you can be pretty precise with it. Where it might come in handy though, if you've just drawn a 25 dot trail to somewhere and then realised, like, oh shit, I forgot to add the petrol station in, instead of deleting 20 dots back to get to like the 5th dot and add the petrol station and then add all the 20 dots back in, it could be easier just to grab it and do it like this and add whatever route it is that you need to go. So yeah, that's about it for the tips today. That's about all I can think of. If I get any more, I'll let you know, but I think that's about cleaned me out. So yeah, like I say, that's about it for today. I hope you've enjoyed. Thanks for watching, and I'll be back soon. I was just going to say, the amount of smoke that comes out of this thing, you're driving along like, what the hell was that I just hit? And you're like, post? What post? But yeah, it's a good truck though. Anyway, thanks for watching.